And welcome back to Lycan Studios. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. This is actually video number 2 that I'm recording today. So you guys probably would have seen it yesterday. It was the top 10 reunions video. Just finished uploading it and stuff. It's doing great so far. You guys are leaving me all kinds of great comments and stuff. Make sure to check it out if you missed it. But for tomorrow's video, which you're seeing today, that's so weird. That's so weird. I'm talking in the future, but today's video is basically going to be covering a article and podcast by James Hibbard, who works for Entertainment Weekly, who actually got to go behind the scenes of Game of Thrones Season 8. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. With that being said, there are all kinds of spoilers in this video, so click away. Make sure to like the video first. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, click away if you want to go into Season 8 with no spoilers. But if you want to hear what I got for you, you stick around. And definitely click that thumbs up button. Also, just got to give a huge shout out to my man, Gert Zimmerman. We are using his music once again in the background. You guys would have seen it yesterday, but yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Make sure to check out his Instagram and Facebook down in the description below. And also, I'll be linking the podcast. I'm not sure if I said that already in the description below as well, if you want to listen to it yourself. But without further ado, let's jump into, let's just go ahead and get the biggest spoiler of this video out of the way. How are they possibly, I'm saying possibly just because I still don't know 100%, but it seems like this is what's going to happen. How are they going to open Game of Thrones Season 8? So we're just going to read it straight from the article. It says, Season 8 opens at Winterfell with an episode that contains plenty of callbacks to the show's pilot. Instead of King Robert's procession arriving, it's Dany and her army. What follows is a thrilling, intense intermingling of characters. I like that word. Some of whom have never previously met. Many who have messy histories, as they all prepare to face the inevitable invasion of the army of the dead. We'll go ahead and knock out the article. It also says it's all about all of these desperate characters coming together to face a common enemy, dealing with their own past, and definitely the person they want to be in the face of certain death. Co-executive producer Brian Cogman says, it's an incredible, emotional, haunting, bittersweet final season. He used the B word, man, and I think it honors very much what George set out to do, which is flipping this kind of story on its head. It then follows by saying how these fan favorites get along drives much of the drama this season. Okay, here's one specific tease from the premiere. Sansa isn't thrilled that Jon bent the knee to his fancy new Targaryen girlfriend, at least not at first. So it sounds like Sansa kind of comes around to it, which I'm sure we kind of could have, deduced down anyways. So yeah, that is pretty huge news. I could see them definitely just kind of making it just like the pilot episode where, Robert's coming in to see Ned to ask him to be the Hand of the King just because of Jon Arryn's death. So man, this is going to be awesome. I can't stop smiling. I'm just so pumped for this. So we had previous reports that it was going to open up at Wintertown, and I could still see that happening. Like if Dany's on her way to Winterfell, the dragons they're going to be circling and stuff. So maybe it starts out in Wintertown. It shows like a small kid looking up, seeing a dragon, like going to alert the family or whatever. Then it pans over to Winterfell. You got Sansa awaiting the arrival of probably, I'm sure Jon's with her. And yeah, it's just going to be absolutely amazing. What do you guys think about that? But yeah, so now that the biggest spoilers out of the way, we're just going to kind of go down the list of things that I wrote down from listening to the podcast, starting off with the actual battle scenes. So we had previously covered the fact that, I forget, one of the showrunners tweeted it out that we basically just like wrapped up 55 nights, keyword nights of filming. So everybody was like, holy cow, it only took 25 days to film the Battle of the Bastards. This is going to be intense. So I guess what everyone kind of just took away from that is that it took 55 days. Well, apparently the Battle of Winterfell actually lasted more than 55 days of shooting. That was just the night shoots. Apparently they went back inside indoor studios and continued filming. So basically what this comes down to is the guy was saying that they were looking at, battles like Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, where it lasted about 40 minutes. And yeah, this is going to be way longer. It's basically going to be the longest consecutive battle sequence in cinema history. It's going to be intense. So yeah, they talk a little bit about that, and then they go into how crazy the security was, just being on set and stuff like that. Some of these things I didn't even know. It's absolutely crazy. It says the security was crazy. They covered your phone with stickers, like the camera on your phone with stickers. They had the iPad scripts with 2 levels of security that refreshed every 20 minutes. So basically every 20 minutes, the actors and stuff who had the scripts actually had to get like new passcodes and stuff, new verification methods. They had electronic ID badges. And then something that I thought was crazy, their scheduling was even coded. So basically they have like their schedule of like what actors supposed to be there that day. They were coded. So like they didn't even give out the names of the people that were supposed to be there. They said that Emilia Clarke was codenamed Elvis and Kit Harington was Patrick. I don't know why they came up with those names, but Patrick, that's pretty funny. Then they talk about how they also had electronic guns that they could literally shoot down drones that were flying overhead. So basically, I'm assuming it's kind of like an EMP gun, like an electromagnetic pulse gun that basically just wiped out the drone. That's absolutely crazy. And they also talk about how they, I guess, contacted like Belfast authorities and stuff, and they actually made like the set a no-fly zone. So they were just going all out. There's no way anything is leaked. I can't see it. Unless someone legit like hacks their servers and stuff, I just can't see how a plot leak would come out, because they don't have these on paper. They're refreshing their security every 20 minutes on the iPad for the actors and stuff. Like, it's the links that they were going to, it's intense. It's very intense. So then next up in the podcast, they just talked about how, you know, Dany was making it back to the north in the beginning, but then they move on to talk about how Winterfell has massively been expanded. They said it basically went from looking like a basic motel to a resort. Even on budget movies like Marvel, they usually kind of only build what's in front of the characters, what you can see, and then they fill in the rest with green screens. They say that this set is completely 360 degrees, and it allows for lots of camera angles and editing, as well as being easier for the actors. You don't really have to pretend like you're there. You feel like you're actually there. So like the fighting sequences and stuff, it's just, you get this 360 degree feel for your environment, instead of just kind of being like, okay, this is in front of me, I kind of got to pretend that there's stuff to the side of me and stuff like that. So it's going to be intense. If I had $20 for every time I said intense and crazy, I'd be a millionaire. But this has just got me pumped up. This is one of the most exciting videos that I've done in a long time. I'm sure you guys can tell. So now I've been joined by my main man Jax, but anyways, they go on to talk about how the directors are pretty much still the same. So I'm kind of betting that the battle sequences, or the major part of them, will still be in 3 and 5 with Winterfell and King's Landing, so that looks good. And then they talk about the full table read, which is really cool. They said they hadn't done it in a while, basically like a full script read through. I guess all the cast members were just gathered around a table, kind of talking about it, making sure everybody was okay with what their character was going to be doing and stuff. And they say that Sophie Turner actually, or Sansa, I'm sure you guys know, read through it first, and apparently they got them a few days before the table read, so they had the opportunity to read through them. So I guess Sophie was just credited with being the first person to, I guess, know the ending and read through and everything like that. But they do say that Kit Harington, or Jon Snow, didn't even read until the table read. So apparently, like, all the directors and stuff were worried because they hadn't heard from him in a long time. Like, they didn't know if he was mad or what. But yeah, he did say that he ended up crying twice, or 2 different times at the table read, just because, you know, the emotions got to him. But I guess it turns out that he liked it. Man, I'm so excited. I really hope they like put together like a DVD of some kind, like behind the scenes to Game of Thrones, like going through all the seasons and stuff, and they get this last table read filmed. I think they did talk about how they're pretty sure it's filmed and they will, you know, put it out on DVD later, but that would just be so cool to see, like, the raw emotions of these people that have been playing these characters for going on 8 years, 9 years, because obviously this has taken longer than a year. Just seeing their raw emotions of them just reading like what their characters are going to go through and stuff like that. That's just crazy. Because I mean, before you kind of had the book, so you kind of knew a little bit what you were going to be doing, but combine this with not knowing it all, plus it being like the last read through, like, oh, it's going to be crazy. There's $10 more. I actually may have said 20, but nonetheless, then they talk a little bit about the theory about Gendry reclaiming the throne as the Baratheon heir. That's pretty interesting. I have kind of thought about it a little bit, but do you guys think that would be video worthy for me to make a whole video talking about that theory? I think it would be pretty interesting. I still do believe that the throne will be melted down, you know, the will be broken, but that's still a pretty decent video. And I could probably pair it with maybe him and Sansa getting married, you know? I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? But then they did bring up Littlefinger coming back, and I don't know if the guy, this is just how he feels, or if he kind of got a glimpse of anything while he was behind the scenes. I'm not even sure how long he was there, what all he knows and stuff, but he did say that, like, everything that he knows, it's enough to where he can kind of, you know, deduct what happens. He said he even, like, was talking to his therapist, and he was like, it is driving me crazy that I can't talk to anybody about this. So yeah, it is pretty nuts. So I would say he does know a lot, but they talked about Littlefinger a little bit, and how he's probably not going to come back. He basically compared Littlefinger coming back to Lady Stoneheart making an appearance. So I don't know if that's just how he feels or if he actually knows something, but I would say it's a pretty good chance that Littlefinger's not coming back. A lot of people, you know, wanted him to come back, or said that maybe he paid like a faceless man to take his place or whatever, you know, faked his own death somehow, or it was somebody else. But yeah, I definitely do not see Littlefinger coming back. And then they talk a little bit about how intimate Season 8 will be, kind of like what we were talking about early earlier, the battles will be absolutely amazing, but he said the one-on-ones will be super good. Just the way they filmed it, how they basically did 10 months of filming for 6 episodes. That would usually only take 2 months. So it's not just the big battles, but he said the dialogue that even goes down in just like a random hallway. You have different angles and just small things that will make it super intimate, and it'll be really easy to edit, you know, completely different views together. And then one of the most important things to me that he says is he says that it feels like the final season will make sense in a way that we can really look back and be like, oh, okay, that's where that was going. He kind of compares it to like the Red Wedding or Ned's death. He's like, it's crazy at first and shocking, but looking back, you can kind of see the buildup and almost like it's inevitable. So I'm super excited because you know how I feel. They just really need to tie this in well. You guys all feel that way, I'm sure. Like, we need to have the best season ever, especially after season 7. A lot of people kind of feeling bad about it, so they got to make sure they kill it. And I'm sure George R.R. Martin would not let this go. Like, he's been involved. So I think it'll be pretty awesome, and I'm so excited. And then last but not least, they do talk about how there's probably only going to be one real trailer coming out. He said that the showrunners were making a joke while he was there. He's pretty sure it wasn't a joke, but they were laughing about it, that they wouldn't even do a trailer if they didn't have to. So his prediction, he says, it's kind of like old trailers and stuff. There may be a little bit of action, but it's mostly just going to be footage from episode 1. But yeah, we did talk about that the other day. Hopefully it comes out soon. I kind of had my hopes up that they would do it the first day of winter, which was yesterday, so obviously they didn't, but hopefully we get a trailer real soon. And then pretty much to wrap up the podcast, they talk a little bit about Fire and Blood, which you guys can just go listen to that if you want to, but they did bring up the prequel a little bit. So everything that we know, obviously, this is going to be 5,000 years before the Game of Thrones, so it's going to have no connections at all. They think it's a good idea, but also at the same time, they're kind of afraid that it may get so far away from Game of Thrones that it doesn't really feel like anything the same. So he said that's probably a good bet for trying to continue this, but also it could come back to hit him just because it's not going to be Game of Thrones. So I'm still excited about it just because it's in the world of Westeros, so I think true fans are really going to enjoy it, but I don't see how it could be as popular as Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Because they had these books to go off of. They know like where these characters were going, years and years and years of just thinking about what could be done, and now they're starting from scratch. So yeah, I'm not too sure. The more and more I think about it, the least excited I get, but I don't know. Or the less excited I get, but I don't know. I'm still pretty excited. But then they talk about how they think The Long Night will probably be the title. They're still looking for cast and directors with an early 2019 shoot, very possible. He talked like they said that they were going to start shooting in February, but he doesn't think that's going to happen anymore. And then George R.R. Martin talks about how it's going to be the Age of Heroes, shot way before the dragons and the Targaryens. So pretty much stuff we already knew. And then, like I said, they go on to talk about some Fire and Blood. I definitely need to get that book soon. I need to finish reading all these books. I'm going to start taking them to work and stuff with me when I can. So I definitely need to catch up on the books and stuff. Me and my brother are still rewatching the season, so I just need to dive in because I have not been pumped up like this probably since the beginning of The Long Night. So yeah, I'm definitely getting back into it. We only have about 4 months to go, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully, you know, I'm not clickbaiting it too bad, and I'm kind of giving you guys like the real evidence that I've seen and stuff. I seen a video made by a pretty well-known dude, and he was just getting ripped apart for clickbaiting and stuff. So I try my best not to. I definitely put like fan fiction in my plot leak titles and stuff like that. And like, is it possible or is it fake? Question mark. A lot of my titles. But if that does bug you guys, let me know. It's a good way to catch people's eyes. So I definitely see why people do it, and I definitely do it a little bit, but I try to still make it to where, you know, I'm not like, oh man, here's this crazy leak that I have. You guys are going to love it. So yeah, I try not to do that. I try to be real with you guys, but I do like the catchy titles. So nonetheless, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Lycan Studios. Video number 2. You're probably like, if you didn't like pay attention to me saying that, you're like, why is this guy in the same clothes and stuff? But yeah, I'm not dirty, I promise. This is just this is video 2 of the day. I'm pretty tired, getting ready to go to bed here soon. And yeah, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, this has been Lycan Studios. Peace.